Let's talk a little bit about some pedals.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I go first into a wah pedal.
And you've always been a cable guy.
Always a cable guy,
yeah.
This kind of thing we were talking about earlier about digital amp modeling and everything. It all changes the tone, you know, in one way or another. And silly me, I've never even tried. You know, I've gone out once or twice with a wireless just to hear the front of the house with somebody else's, but I've never done it in a show.
Yeah.
I've just heard so many people say, "Yep, changes the tone." So I'm like, "All right, no, I'm not doing it."
Yeah.
So I think I'm the only guy on stage with the cable. I am.
Yeah. And it's amazing because you've played huge venues. You know, as big as it gets.
Long cables. Yeah.
And so you like a 50-foot cable.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
Long cable warms the tone a little bit, you know. But yeah, I go into first wah over on this side. So I have.
And that's your SIG, right?
I have. Yeah. This is the Morley signature wah. I usually have one over here and one over here, just so I can say hi to different folks if I'm using it.
Sure.
So that wah has a little bit of boost added to it. That's why it was called the Power Wah. So I just pretty much, back when we got together with Morley, I looked at I was using the Bad Horsey at the time, and I was like, all right, let's tweak. I think I dialed in with the pedal the frequency that I like the most. I'm like, can we just take that and broaden that, and then take this frequency and like the low mid and high mid and just boost that and get rid of some of the high end. So that's what we did with the pedal.
Oh. What a great luxury to be able to like get them to make the wah like you want it.
Yeah, and it wasn't a long process. These guys were just quick. Like, yeah, we just take this and you know, they can just take a frequency and blow it up. Then we go into the hand-wired tube screamer, which is I've toured with for years and years. The only other overdrive that I like better than that is the Klon. But I'm not going to bring a Klon on stage because it's just going to get messed up. But the Tube Screamer, love it. And I tape these pedals not to hide settings, but to make sure they don't get nudged.
Yeah.
And then this is just my foot controller for my amp. Then I've got the Boss OC5 octave. And I never was really a Boss octave player until I saw some people reviewing this pedal. And then I bought it and kind of A-beat it with a bunch of my octaves at home, and it was just as good as anything I had. And it's such a small little pedal space, and it's got so many options. It's got the analog and the the polyphonic settings on there. So if you're doing single string stuff, you throw it on the analog and it sounds rich and warm. You put it on the polyphonic and do chords, and it sounds great.
Yeah, that's great.
The MXR Smart Gate is something that I just started using on this last tour, and I couldn't live without it anymore. It's
really?
We do, you know, when we're doing high gain stuff, we're doing pretty high gain stuff, and we do a lot of songs that have like stop, you know, hit a couple chords and stop, and it wants to be dead quiet. That thing, it just cuts it right off, and I got it set right to where it's not too, it's not soaking up your tone. It's just It's just right where it needs to be.
Not cutting off the note when you're holding the sustain.
It only does it when you really want it to do it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't live without that now. And there was a few we've tried, but the MXR is the one that I keep going back to. Of course, the Everybody's Boss tuner.
Yeah, that's kind of the standard of the industry.
Yeah, for sure. And then this is a prototype for. I'm starting a pedal manufacturing company here.
Oh, how great!
You know, it's just a fun. I think it's just it'll be a fun project, you know.
Yeah.
And just like everything else, I'm going to try and keep them real affordable, real user friendly. This is a Univibe type pedal.
Can we hear it a little bit?
Yeah. So this is a prototype for a new pedal that I'm developing. I'm trying to develop a whole line of pedals.
Oh, great.
I don't know what we're going to call them yet, but I want to come out with 3 pedals first. And this one is you know, a modulation style.
Yeah, Univibe. Wow, man.
It's great. It's got a lot of just pure vibe. And I don't use it much live, but there's 3 or 4 songs that I'll use it in, and it's just
God, it sounds great. And you're
rich.
You're not running stereo, but it gives you this kind of stereo spread that's crazy.
I've always been a fan of modulating effects. You know, I've had the Univibes, and I've had all the boutique style pedals like that, and I'm just trying to make one that's as good as any of those or better, and for my playing.
Sure.
And,
but it sounds great.
It's real glassy, and
I love the way it looks too.
Yeah, I think
the whole.
You know, we've been talking about coming up with this hip aesthetic for the thing. I'm like, you know, I like the way it is.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like if Alexander Dumble were alive and making pedals, that's what it would look like.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Totally. Now,
it looks boutique.
Okay, so what pedals are you in the line gonna develop? What?
So right now I've got this pedal. I've got a tremolo pedal, which there's companies that do the one-trick pony thing really well. They make these great pedals that you only use for one trick.
Sure.
The tremolo pedal I wanted to have, where you could have, it's almost like this vibe where it's real cool and vibey, but you also have this dead cut tremolo where it's like da 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 da.
Oh
and
yeah.
you can tap tempo it.
That percussive thing.
And I want to make it where you say you're at the end of a song and you hit a big chord, you go bop 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 da, and it cuts dead cuts it off.
Yeah.
And then you can tap tempo it, so you just hit it twice and at whatever tempo you're at. And you can tap tempo your, you know, however fast you want it to go. I love it. You know, a pedal's good when they sent me the first version of it, and I sat down within 15 minutes and wrote a big piece with it.
Oh, that's
like,
great.
wow, this is cool. This is great. I wrote a song. I didn't write a whole song, but I wrote a part. So
that's great.
And then we're gonna do an overdrive, which is a tricky one because, of course, I'm going after the Klon.
That's the toughest
Everybody's
one.
going after the Klon.
Overdrive's the toughest pedal.
Yeah. And everybody's like, we got it, we got the Klon. And then I'll hear it, and I'm like, you don't have the Klon. Some people have the Klon. It's just like the Dumble thing.
Yeah.
People are like, no, we got this thing that sounds like a Dumble. It does not sound like a Dumble. You put the Dumble and that next to one another, it's imitating a Dumble, but it's not the Dumble.
Yeah.
There's some great overdrives. There's like the Zen Drive I thought was great.
Yeah, love it.
There's so many.
Yeah, this Tube Screamer is great.
Yeah, Tube Screamer's great. I think it's just a different animal than the Klon.
Yeah.
But if I'm at home and I'm playing through whatever I want at home, I'm playing through the Klon.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not going to bring an $8,000 pedal on tour. And I bought the Klon when it was $400.
Oh God.
So thank goodness.
Those days are gone.
Those days are gone.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to do an overdrive. I want it to be transparent. I want it to sound like the Klon, and I don't want it to be $8,000. I want it to be $200.
Well, great. Well, I can't wait to hear that. And I can't wait to hear the tremolo. When you, in fact,
Tremolo's great. It's upstairs.
when you get them done, send a couple to PG. We'll review them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So, Charlie, let's review those pedals.
Absolutely.
If we can.